Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. The flight is about to take off.
Keep am 900. You get the things that I see from my dreams, just make them come my way. I heard it's a miss, cause I'm doubting myself. I get close to my dreams, but it keeps looking like it's running far away. Kabut them won't go far. Big bed to go far. Local, global. Overtake and take over. This body, we done the over. My ginger, they go down. Enemies getting closer. God, don't let them come my way. I pray myself. Anything I lose once, so make I get down twice. So I pray myself. If I lose myself, make I find my way. Oh. Kuna raha za finani kuma inawaka. Inakuka de Hawaii chikuma no waka. I've been through the highs and lows, I'm a best and faster. Pass and Dainava, Rana Zuarana. Yeah. I waka for streets, put up on my feet. I am from G's, I'm a winner degree. Anyhow it be, believe, Balaba must flee. I pray myself, anything I lose once, so make I get down twice, so I pray myself. If I lose myself, make I find my way. Oh. Don't let them move on my way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just arrived at your destination. The seatbelt sign has entered the car.
Ọlọ́ládé mi Àṣàkẹ́.
I'm the vibe, you can see my lifestyle. I'm a most up to the big sign. Different pattern on my own style, so consistent, no resistance. Either I'll be packed, you can call me a break guy. Steady come down in, I'll be great guy. Man, when sleep, go wake up, it's like be like road, I go more long. Come on, say, oh, why then? You better look big, Timba Moti, oh, my day. Chaye, oh, you there, wash it. Come on, come on, say, oh, why then? You better look big, Timba Moti. Satin was satin, Paris was Berlin, Kashmir, orí mi máa jẹ ìṣẹ̀sín, ajé mo pè ní, ó jẹ́ mi, arádúgbò ẹgbà mi, wọ́n ní mo tún ti ṣe mí, ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ ní, àìsàbí àná tàbí, party after party, I'm Gucci, we standing oh my Jesus, I will see you guys soon in the money, I got to go there with my baby, baby, lean on me, jẹ́jẹ́lì, ọ̀rá pẹ́nu sí ṣe jẹjẹun, ayé fẹ́lẹ́ ò kà ṣe pẹ́lẹ́ ò, ẹgbẹ́ sókè ẹ má jọ wálẹ̀. I'm really vibe, you can see my lifestyle. I'm a most up to the big sign. Different pattern on my own style, so consistent, no resistance. Either I'll be packed, you can call me a break guy. Steady cocaine, I'll be great guy. Man, when sleep, go wake up, it's like be like road, I go along. Kò máa ṣe kó wálẹ̀, ibẹ̀ ló gbé, tí bá mọ̀ tí mo máa délé, káyé orí rẹ̀ ṣe mọ́tò. Kò máa ṣe kó wálẹ̀, ibẹ̀ ló gbé, tí bá mọ̀ tí mo máa délé, káyé orí rẹ̀ wá ṣe. Wá ṣeré òkèrè, ìjà ló dé lórí ìdòwe, ọmọ bá mi ò gbélé. Sáàtì mo gbélé, ajá mi ló ń sáré, never lose guard mi ò ṣéké. So many things wey my eye don see, irony see reality. Normally I get packaging, shey you go like no as today head note. CBD, shey you see me read, MTV lórí AIT. Jesus Christ, wọ́n fẹ́ Judas níbi for you 4, 5, 6 class to 1, 2, 3. 2 plus 2 no be 1. I get the talent, no be cap. My time is prime. Festival go find look for design. Ọmọ ìyá mi jẹ́ kó shine.
Anytime I boss 16, I got up every like I'm funny. Yeah, they try show really the whole copy list, the jungle, what the funky. You're the good, and it go for shisha, every day, nigga, I'm over Kissa. Painting pictures for you, Mona Lisa. The blessings are heavenly, no stressing it, effortless, no heavenly. Now you know who you ever with. The swag is loud and definite. Fire them with up down this stage. Hey, you want my con? I want people.
Yo, chat. What's good, chat? What's good, chat? What's good, chat? What's good, chat? What's everybody?
Your phone ringing. Your phone ringing. Big boy, come pick up your phone. Why you no pick up your phone? Your phone ringing. Your phone going to go to voicemail. Goodbye.
What's good, chat? What's good? What's good, chat? Awesome. Feels good to be here. Feels good to be alive today. Feels good to be streaming. Feels good to be streaming. Man, it's been a minute here. It's been a minute. It's been a minute actually. Well, I've been busy. Been really busy. Been busy with a lot work. I had like about, I would say, different tasks to meet up with over the over the course of this week, last week, yeah, and was really exhausting, really exhausting. But then, as of yesterday, I told myself I'm not going anywhere. Locked myself inside the house, and locked myself inside the house in my room, basically, right? Locked myself in my room, and I said, you know what, I'm going to attack this. Yes, that was what I told myself. I said I'm going to attack this. So yesterday I was able to tackle all the major issues that I had outside my work. Attended to most of the problems. So yesterday I had to do like three designs, three graphic designs, a one website testing, a website fix updates, right? A logo design. Man, was just a lot, actually, a lot. But most importantly, I was able to finish up whatever I needed to do just to be on this stream today. Just to be on this stream today. Yes. So I'm happy to having to come online today. The stream is going to be quite long today. Yes, because today we're doing something that we've always supposed to have done. Doing something that, oh, well, I've done this for a while. Today we are doing what? We are live coding. Boom. We'll be live coding today. There's going to be like a long live section for programming, coding, right? And I was having the thought of what are we going to be, you know, what are we going to be writing about, right? Um, what are we going to be building? Because we're going to be doing like a vibe coding today. Yes, a vibe coding today. And I have some couple of projects that I would have loved to jump on, but since it's already something that I have going on, I decided to build something from scratch. So we're going to be building something from scratch to finish, right? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building a website for my girlfriend. Yes. Right. So I'm going to be building a website for my girlfriend, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited actually because I thought I was going to do it, and she said, "Billy, are you serious?"
Oh my god. Yes. So um, I'm excited about it actually because it actually gives me time to, you know, we're going to go through phases. Okay. Um, we are going to go through um, some of the technical phases that involves this project, right? I can't actually wait. I personally can't wait. Right. I personally can't wait. And this is interesting for me because we moved from we moved from what's going on? I need to be sure someone can hear me. I need to be sure. If you can hear me, drop W's in the chat, please. I need to be sure I'm not just talking. It's raining. It's raining today. Ah. She says she can hear me. Yay! I'm gonna scream. Oh my god! I don't know why I am excited, right? I don't know why I'm excited. So, like I said, we are going to be vibe coding, right? So, vibe coding is like one of the hottest dev trends, like 2026, right? 2026, from building entirely through natural language prompt to AI. So, we we've got we've gone through building entirely from natural language prompts to AI. Now, um, what this means is that over time, the tech space has evolved to the point where um, work has been made easy for everybody, especially us in the tech space, right? Think of it as you literally had to sweat it, you literally had to struggle to um, get things done, right? And now you no longer have to sweat it to get things done. You know, you can be multitasking simultaneously, doing like 3 to 4 tasks at the same time concurrently, and um, you can also have time to focus on other things that you're doing, right? So it's pretty more interesting, right? So we won't be doing manual coding today, right? I won't be writing any code. We are just going to be leveraging on AI. And if you've been following all the streams that we've been doing on this channel, you know that we've spoken so much about AI, artificial intelligence, the evolution of AI, right? How AI has evolved from the time of when ChatGPT was launched to or was announced to now that we have Fable 5, Claude, we have Sonnet, we have Gemini, we have Gemini Flash, we have GPT-5, a lot of models. We have Kimi, we have V0, we have there are many of them. There are many of them actually, right? So AI has evolved from how it was before to being more efficient and more stable. I wouldn't say 100% stable because every day we see new models being introduced. We see big dogs in the game pushing out new models here. We know the issues with, you know, Anthropic, Anthropic pushing out Fable 5, and we also know what's going on with. I need to. What's going on? And we also know how the US government are now putting in place a framework that surrounds the AI ecosystem, right? So It's pretty much interesting, and I'm excited today because we are going to see. I'm going to be showing you how you can, you know, how we can build a website using these AIs. So we are going to follow a series of steps, right? And these steps are something that I will need you to actually pay attention to, right? Um, we are going to find out if vibe coding is real. We're going to find out if vibe coding is real, and also we're just going to know if it's just a hype. So, like I said, we're going to be building a website for my girlfriend for her business, and I think we're ready to get it. I think we're ready to get it. So what we're going to do is right because this stream is this stream supports real time activity, right? Unfiltered, okay, unfiltered, real time and unfiltered. We're going to go through a process. We're going to see the process of having to start all this. I'm talking too much. Why do I feel like I'm talking too much? Yes. Damn. I'm talking, talking too much. I need to stop talking. I need to stop talking. But then I'm going to share my screen. So before I do that, I need to get something up. Um, I will be sharing my stream, my screen in a minute. But before that, let me graze you up with some music.
Bad times, bad times. Bad times where I pay bride price. So the women where I follow them be do me one kind. I don't blame them, I mean they poor. Sakba don't care, they wound us. But now, amen. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Fatilawa, Malaysia jaga jaga, Pokalawa, Kedemini kakawa, Big boys lawa, and we are living our lives. No sleep tonight, just be doing as you like. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, uh-huh, What's on my head, you never regret. And then I come back on a mischievous. Uh-uh, uh-uh. Don't be serpent. To back for me, I go be on silent. If you bust my head, you never regret. And then I come back on a mischievous. Yeah. Fajilawa, Maloshe Jaga Jaga. Ogalawa, Pedemini Kakawa.
Right, all right, all right. So I need to share my screen now. Yes, I need to share my screen now so we can get all started. Sharing my screen, and we are up and running in 5, 4. There you go. All right, awesome. So, because I said we are going to be following like a process, right? Um, I wouldn't say an engineering process. Um, I need to be sure you can hear me, chat. Okay. All right. So yeah, so we are going to go through the phase. There is a stages that there are stages that we need to um, check, right, during this process. What I'm doing now is not really a thing, but it's something that you should be aware of, right? I mean, we could have just dive into it and then start building. Yes, we could have done that, and then I start laying the foundations on the go, right? But I need to actually make this known so that it'll be easier for anyone who is joining this stream to, you know, um, see, right? So getting into it is I'm going to I'm going to what am I going to do? We're going to go to Escali Draw. Escali Draw is going to help us to draw out the architecture. As you can see, I already have one here, but it's for a system that I was working on, right? A task that I was supposed to work on. It's more like a referral system, right? Yeah, it's more like a referral system. So this is like a referral system, not is like this is a referral system. And it's supposed to it explains the step on how the system works. So this is more like an architectural flow. So a customer purchased the device, um, they are allocated a certain amount for referral, right? If the purchasing customer uses the referral code of whoever that shared the link to them, then they are awarded a certain amount from the allocated funds. If not, if not, nothing is done, right? They just go straight into auditing, which is log them that they made a transaction and then update the report and follow the other process, right? But if they did. It allocates whatever funds that it has been specified in the system, right? Which in this case is 500 naira. Allocates that, then keeps the balance, takes them to the next level, which is logs the transaction, and then move to the last part of it. Then also, if it's of business type, so this current system looks like both sides. So there is a business side of it, and then there is also an individual side of it, right? If you are purchasing as an individual, right, this is the process that goes on. If you are purchasing as a business, right, if you are purchasing through a business referral link, this is what happens is as admin is able to assign a specific amount that they want to assign to you, right? This is how the system want, requested to be like. So this is it, but this is not what we're looking at. Yeah. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at what we call a system architecture, right? A system architectural flow. So I'm just going to get a box. I'm going to draw a box now. so that I can write it down. Right. So we are going to name this system system so, right. And in this case, we are going to ensure that we move this guy out. Because I'm going to move this guy out. Okay. So this guy, we're going to increase it, right? So that you can see what I'm doing. Right. So, right. Now, I'm going to duplicate this because we need more of this. We need more of this. Right. So, um, the process to having to start developing this system, right, involves the first layer, which is like the foundational layer, right? The foundational part of it. Um, the foundational part of this project, right? Which is the first one. We're going to do discovery or requirement, discovery and requirement. Then we have. I think I need to put that down. And for discovery and requirements, right? What discovery and requirements involves is we have the, the scope of the project, right? Then we have the stakeholders, right? So we have the scope, we have the stakeholders, then we have the user stories, right? So this is the first part of it. So I'm going to enlarge this, so it will be in this box, right? In this box, we are going to give it a color of sibling. Okay, so yeah, so for discovery and requirements, we have under it, we have scope of the project. We're able to understand the scope of the project, understand who and who is involved in this project, who are we building this project for. Oh shit, I said stake. It's supposed to be stakeholders. Oh wow. Okay. Then we have the user story, right? The user story is this is where we understand what who and who is doing. For example, we can have for user story, we can have that under the stakeholders, we have technicals and the non-technicals people, right? We know that we have whatever that we're doing, we have two people in mind, the technical guys and the non-technicals, right? And under the user story, how many users do we have in the system, right? This really do not matter in this particular system that we're building, but what I'm showing you right now is like a a a flow, right? A flow to having to start building a system, a flow to observe, start building a system. So for the user flow, right, this allows us to assign a specific role to a particular person. So I would say, for example, user story, uh, user story. Oh no, make it blank. User story, right? We have three users, for example. I'm going to enlarge this. We have the first user, which say we have admin. Then we have We have the okay. Let's say we have the first one is the system admin, right? Then the next person that we have after the user, for example, if we are putting this project that we're about to do in mind, right? Then we are going to have what we call a customer, because this website is going to be for a more like a commerce, but a booking site. That's all. It's a booking site, right? Where people can book, make an order, and the admin receive the order, right? So we have system admin, customer, and then we have, for example, we can have visitors. So customers will be different from the visitors, right? So these roles that we have now, each of these user that we have here would specify what each of these user is doing, right? What each of these user has to do in the system. So for example, admin can say manages order, approves transactions, you know, just a breakdown. And then we know that the system admin, who is the main guy, what's going on? What does it look like? This thing is cleaning up. Oh no. So we know that the system admin is the overall, does everything, right? Which means that they also then we start breaking down their roles, right? They can create user, create admin, which is an admin, create an admin, right? They can create a customer, they can um, create a customer, they can delete or block, not delete because we won't be since we are doing with finance. I'm going to put this down. Since we're dealing with finance, it is risky to delete user or transaction for all these purposes, because this can actually get you into trouble. As an engineer, have this in mind that we don't delete users. We don't do that here because it can actually get you into trouble. Reason being that when you delete a user is attached to a transaction, right? And if you're deleting a user, it means that you're deleting everything that has to do with this user, right? This can only be done if you have a bad intention the um, towards the business, right? Your intention is to make sure that the supposed business could have encounters an issue, probably when an audit is being performed on the system, right? So we don't delete. I'm going to highlight this and make this guy red. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, what? I can't do that. Um. Uh, all right. So we don't delete a user, right? Let me see if I can underline this. No, I can't. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no. I don't like this font. Yeah. So bottom line is we don't delete user. What we do is we patch. or we update. So these are like methods when you are dealing with schemas, right? Patch and updates is important to take note of this, right? So is either we patch and update, and what we are updating on this user is either we say this user should uh, be restricted, right? So what we can do is restrict this user from logging in, restrict this user from doing anything on the platform. We can only update or patch this user, giving them not allowing them access to the platform again by using either patch or put or updates, right? Now, what this does is it allows your system to still maintain that there was a user like this that performed a certain transaction. That is, providing that this user had done a transaction, right? If a user has a transaction under it, we don't delete a user. We only update a user. We update or we patch. So, and this means that they shouldn't be able to have access to the platform. Is either we say we are going to block this user or banned the user. Right. So this is like this is just it, right? So note, like I said, we don't delete user from the system, especially if the user already has a transaction over it. We don't do that. So super admin has access to do everything in the system that both the admin, the customer, and the visitors are doing. We're breaking down the roles. We are doing a user story, right? And this user story is outlining what each user that we have on our system can do, is able to do on the platform, right? So also for admin, we can say that admin can manage roles, approve transactions. Admin can manage, say, manage customers, yeah, and so this just crossed my mind now, right? Because we are not building like a multi-tenant system, right? Because we're not building a multi-tenant system, that's why we say that admins are able to manage customers, right? If we were having like a multi-tenant system in the sense that, for example, Jumia, Konga, Alibaba, Alidada, right? Those are multi-tenant system because I have my store on Alidada. Someone else has their store on Alidada. I'm able to manage my customers under me. They're able to manage their customers under them. We have an admin that manage all the vendors. Then we have the system admin that manages all the admins and the vendors and the customers and the visitors. That's a multi-tenant system, right? But this case is that we are building a straightforward system, right? It doesn't involve a vendor being in place or less required over time to say that okay, this system should be able to you know contain more than one user, right? Which is not the admin. So there should be vendors now. If we're adding any user into this, that's where you see we have what we call planning and architecture, right? We're able to design the system properly such that it's scalable. This system needs to be scalable as such that we can include and update it, add a new user, add a new role, and it doesn't break the system. Right. So that's it. So for admin, we know that admin are able to manage customers, manage others, approve transactions. Admins are able to do other things, right? But we know that system admin, which is this guy here, is overall. Then we have the admin. Admin guy does his work, and then under the admin we have the customers, right? Now, customers have their own duty. They have their duty to update their profile. They can reset their password. They can update their profile, reset their password. They can, what's it called? Mm, what else can the customer do? The customer can see their orders, right? See orders, view orders, view individual order, right? And so on and so forth. This is the role of a customer. Then a visitor, we know that a visitor really does not do anything, but a visitor can go ahead and create accounts. Create accounts, they can um, add to carts, they can um, they can add to carts, they can update their profile, right? They can, of course, updating their profile means that they can update their name and everything. They can also request reset their password, right? Now, this is a visitor. A visitor cannot view others. They cannot do anything. Now, a visitor graduates from a visitor to a customer when they make a purchase. So, and this means that they make a successful purchase. Right. So you become a customer when you make a successful purchase. And the moment you make a successful purchase, it means that you are leveling up from where you are now to moving to from the customer base to um trying to make this to look proper. So you graduate from being a you graduate from being a customer, right? Which is from this guy. That is the moment you make a successful purchase. You move from this guy to a customer, right? So this is like a basic system of how a user story is. What we just did now is to analyze what user story is, right? And this is how user stories are. User story allows you to specify all the users available on the system, break down their roles, what is each person doing and what is each person not doing, right? That is user role. And coming back to what we're doing here, like we said, the first stage is we have the discovery and sorry, I need to move this instead. Yeah, so we have the discovery and the requirements, right? Then we also have under them we have the scope of the project. What are we trying to achieve with this project? And for the scope, we can say that so group this and move it downwards, and we can say for scope, we need to increase this. Oh no, I don't like this. So yeah, for the scope now, we say that the scope of this project is to, you know, build a system that allows user to book an order, make an order, right? Order a particular service and have it attended to by the admin, right? So in this case now, for this system that we are going to be building, the admin is the owner of the website. That is the admin, right? The system admin is the developer, which is me. And the system admin, she's going to be the admin, right? And then we're going to have the customer. So we have like 3 rows. I think we are going to have 4 rows. See, just like we broke it down here, right? Having this row in the system makes sense for me. Yeah, I like that. So for the scope is to build a system that allows people to actually make an order and have it delivered to them. We know the scope already, right? Then the stakeholders, like we said, we have the technicals and the non-technicals. So meaning that we have to build this system in such a way that those that don't understand the technical terms are able to see it, they interact with the platform, they're able to understand what's going on in the system, when looking at it, they understand it, right? So those are like the stakeholders, right? Then after this phase, we move to the next phase. And the next phase is, oh no. And the next phase is what we call the planning. Like I said, there's an issue here. The planning and the picture. Right. I'm going to increase this. The planning and the architecture. Right. So let's give this guy, we'll move from, let's give it a yellow box. Right. Because at this point now we are planning. Right. And planning involves two things. Right. The planning it might involve more than two things, but the two things that we're going to two core things we're looking at in this planning phase is the tech stack, and or and the system design. Right. The tech stack and the system design. So I'm going to move this guy up a bit, and I'm going to reduce this guy a little just so it fits into the container. And this guy is looking too small. I'm going to increase this guy a bit. Okay, move it to the middle, let it center. All right, awesome. So, like I said, the tech stack and the system design, right? For the tech stack for this project, we're going to be using React and Nest.js, okay, for the tech stack. So we're in the planning phase now of this project. So I'm going to this guy. Tech stack, we have Nest.js. We're going to be using, since it's going to involve transactions and we're going to be storing funds, we're going to be using Prisma ORM, right? Also, since it also involves, we are going to be using Tailwind CSS for the styling, right? This is React Nest.js. And then I'm very heavy on my types, right? If you're a level of types, we're going to be building this with TypeScript, right? I love my types, just to make sure that the system is tight. I need to do something. Hey. So, yeah, so, yes, what else are we going to be using? We are going to use something called GSAP. This is for animation. We're also going to be using something called, what else are we going to be using here? I think we'll also introduce Framer, right? We're going to use Framer, right? What else? DB. For the database, of course, we're using Postgres, which is already there. So, okay, let me just do this. This is for DB. For okay, sorry. So database. I need to break it down properly. Database in brackets. We have DB. Right. I need to move this guy very far away from here because it's disturbing me. Yes. Um. What else are we going to be using here? Tailwind. Of course, JavaScript now. TypeScript or JavaScript. So you already know this is a family of the script family, TypeScript or JavaScript. Right. What else? I think this is basically it. Um, we'll come back here if there are anything that's well I'm missing. Right. But these are like core things that we're going to be using for this project. Right. So we already know our users, right? We have our users, which is our user story. We know that we have three user or four users in this system, right? We have the system admin, we have the admin, which is the business owner, we have the customer and the visitor, right? This has already given us the schema that we're going to be working with, right? And yes, also because we are going to be working with this, we are not working with an external backend, right? We're not working with an external backend. So what we're going to be using here is we're going to be using for our backend, right? We're going to be using Nest.js server actions, right? Right. So we're going to use that for. So this allows us to ship both our front end and our back end in the same application straight away without having to have like an external backend that will call the API and all that. Yes, use the API to call the endpoints, right? This allows us to specify the different rules, right? Have our schema. We use that schema to create like an action. That action interacts with the database, and it's just like having both stack in one place. Yeah. So that's for that's for this. I'm going to move this up. So this is for our stack. For our system design, yes, we've already started structuring that. This would come into play when we have what we call our schema, right? Now this schema looks like this. So we're going to have something like user. We say that there is a user and the user ID default at UUID. Then we have, say, inside this user now, this user, we have something called enum, user enum. So probably we'll call it user enum. And this user enum involves these guys that we've stated here. System, what am I doing? System admin, we have the admin, we have the customer. So note that I'm writing the enum in camel case. Yes, the reason is because enums are meant to be camel-cased. Is it camel-cased or uppercase? Uppercase, rather. Sorry, uppercase. Yes. So we have admin, system admin, and then we have the visitors. Then inside here, because we have this, right? We can now have something like admin. We're defining this system already. Oh. We can have admin. Admin has its own schema. What admin does. What does admin contain? Admin contains the user type, which is the user from it imports user from the user, right? Then admin is a user, and admin contains an ID. Admin has like a first name, all those stuff, right? So, but don't worry, Since we are going to be doing like a flow, this is like this is like me giving you like an insight of what each of the steps that we're doing here looks like, right? So this is a system design. Then we have the next guy. This next guy now is like the one that the users interact with, right? The users interact with. We are talking of um, the UI dash UX design of this project, right? Hold on a bit. As usual, we're going to do something. Where is it? Oh my god! Don't stress me, bro. This guy is stressing me. Ah, so see under it, under US UI US, we are looking at the wireframes. I'm going to wireframes. We're looking at the prototype and we're looking at the style guide. What is going on? Oh no. Why? Why is that so? I'm gonna move this guy. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to move this guy down. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to move this guy down. I'm going to do AV down. This is centered. I think this is the part where we have our color of the box to be green. Yes. So now we have the system architecture that we're doing here. We have the first one, which is the discovery and the requirements. Then we have the planning and the architecture. Ah, Jesus Christ. Then we have the UI UX design. Of course, you already know what the UI UX design looks like. This is the part where we now have things like the wireframes. The wireframes are things like this. Hold on, let me draw up something. So we can have this, this box, and then we have a say this guy. Okay, hold on. This guy is not the job guy. So we have this guy, right? And inside here we have this guy, right? This is when the user is logged in. Or we can say the logo can be here, and we have the hamburger here, like so. Then we have the content. This is the content area, right? Then we have the footer, right? So this is the wireframe, right? This is the wireframe. This is you outlining how or designing the system before you actually build it. Do you understand? This is the part where you say, okay, this is how I want the UI to look like and all that. That's wireframe. So after wireframing this now, then we use something like you know, Figma to actually draw up the prototype, actualize, execute this guy, have like an actual designs, pictures and everything, right? And then with that, we're able to get like a prototype that is a working prototype that you can use to do like a demo to whoever you want to demo it to, right? So that's the idea behind this guy. What's the time? 2:34. Hold on. Excuse me, please. Yeah, so this is the wireframe, right? We can then go ahead to have the prototype, um, and style guide now decides the pattern at which you want this to be like. So at least I have like a list of style guides, right? Design types. We have the minimalists. We have these are the lists here, right? I listed this out for a reason. So we have different types. We have the claymorphism, we have the neomorphism, we have the glassmorphism, which is most popular one that people are recently using. Glassmorphism. We have the schemorphism. Then we have the minimalism. Then we have the maximalism. Then we have the brutalism. We have the liquid glass UI. This one, Apple uses this one. This is the, if you're wondering what type of design style that Apple is using, it's called liquid glass UI, right? Then we have the bento grid UI. I love this bento grid UI. I use this bento grid to do something for a client, and I love it actually. I love it. I actually improved the bento grid to something. Okay, I think I would show that project. So what I use there, you can see the texture of the website. You can see the grids behind. You can see the sandy thing that looks like it's a sand, right? So this is a bento grid UI design type that I actually worked on, right? I love this the feel of this website because it's not noisy. It's not noisy, and also is quite interesting, right? It's quite interesting. So this is an example of bento grid, though. But yeah. Then, like I was saying, we have bento grid, and then we have the spatial UI design, right? So this is these are like the type of design style that you can decide to choose from. But in this case, for this website, we are going to find out what type of design or what type of design style matches this project that we're going to be working on, right? This stream is probably going to be very long, and we might likely not finish it today. We will probably have like a part two of the project. That is, depending on wherever we stop, we're going to have like a part two of this. But it's good that we understand these things, because I'm not just here to talk. I'm also here to, you know, um, I'm also here to, give lights and explain things. So this is it, right? So now we're going to decide what type of design that we're going to be using. We're going to explore these design types. Yeah, we're going to do that in a bit. But then, when we are done structuring the scope and the design, right? Once we are done, once you are done doing these three steps, right? Then the before the actual build kicks off, right? Or rather, once we are done doing this, then the actual build kicks off. And when the actual build kicks off, there are three things that we need to check, right? There are three things that we need to actually check that ensures that whatever code that we're writing is going to be of a good quality before we push it out, we ship it, right? And that step involves three steps. So I'm just going to permit me. I'm going to group these guys, right? I'm not grouping them. I'll just duplicate them. So I duplicate them and move it down, right? And then I move it down. So I'm going to name this. What will I name this? Let me call this checkpoints, right? Checkpoints. Let me call this checkpoints. I call these checkpoints. Reason now checkpoints. On these checkpoints, we have Three things, right? We have the first one, which is the development. Sorry. I think this guy was on. Oh, fuck. Go to the side now. We have development. Um, um, this guy does not have a shortcut for this thing. Now, the development involves the two guys, which is like the main guys, the front end, we have the back end, and we have three of them. Back end, and of course, like I already showed that on that other side, which is like the database work, right? This is important. Before we ship anything, we have to ensure that this is solid. Then after that, we have what we call code review, right? Code review. And on this code review, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do it's called a peer review. And then we're going to do what we call merge the checks. So when we are done and we look at this development stage and then we're about to ship, we have to review the code to be sure that this is solid. These are like these are like I would say things that you actually need to take note of. That's why I'm taking my time to explain them, right? Then we have on the last phase here, we have the testing and the QA. Right. QA means quality assurance. Yes, quality assurance. So for under them, we're going to be having what we call units. This unit testing is very, very important. We have units, we have integration. So it's of three types: integration, units, integration, and manual. So these three things need to be checked. We need to have a, what's this? Oh, no. Okay. So we need to have a unit test. Unit tests, we have the unit test, then we have the integration test. That is providing that we are integrating from an external endpoint, external API, right? So you say the backend is separate, then we need to perform what we call integration testing, right? Test the endpoints to be sure that each endpoint is doing what they're supposed to do. If they're not, we escalate them to you escalate that to the backend engineer or whoever is in charge of the backend, right? So and then we have the manual testing. When we've integrated and we've done the unit testing, we have like a stage branch, a stage URL where you're able to test out the project, right? Test out the project before you deploy to production, right? That is the stages. Um, we have the checkpoints. Yeah. So once we are able to go through this phase, right? We have another phase. You know that we've shipped out. So at this place, we've planned at this stage, we've designed the system. Then at this stage, we've built, we've built and we've checked, we've run the test. And once we're done, we now have the final guy, which is when we ship after the testing, we ship out this project. for customers to start using, we should be expecting a feedback, some kind of a feedback from customers, right? Here we're gonna have here what we call what do we call it now? Let's call it um I'm trying to find the word. Um we have the system architecture, we have the checkpoints. You know what? Let's call it monitoring. Yes, yes. Let's call it monitoring. You can call it whatever you want, so but I choose to call it this. Oh, is it? Okay, it's supposed to be capitals. Shit. This. I'm trying to take this to an uppercase. Hold on. Let me just do money. Yeah. So now, what this means is we've designed the system, we've ensure that the system is okay. We've run the unit test, the integration test, providing that we have an external endpoint that we're integrating. And then we also did our manual testing before we shipped this to production, right? When we are done with this, we are expecting feedback from our users, providing that they are constantly testing it and expecting their critics and everything, right? This is the part where we are not paying attention to the system. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is what? The staging, right? Staging. But here is the thing for me, yeah. Here's the thing for this staging. This is the part where before we ship it out, we allow the customers test it out, right? We allow the customers. We probably okay. Let me explain this. Probably let me explain this better. You know when? Oh no! How come? You know, I don't know when I moved my screen upward. Yes, so you know when, for example, big companies like Canva, Google, Apple, Microsoft, even to the smallest companies, right? Startups, they do. Before you ship out a product, you must have at least 2 to 3 users or three to 10, 10 to 20, maximum 10 or 15, right? Users test your application or test your software before you ship it out. Like you ship it out to the mass, to the global usage, right? These guys are the ones that we are providing these staging links to. They have the time to perform their testing, give us their response, tell us what they think, right? Criticize us the way they want to, right? Tell us what's working and what's not working. So it's called staging or UAT. So UAT means user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing. So this is the part where an actual user or a client or a stakeholder, not the developers. Because the thing is, when a developer builds an application, it feels like it's working perfectly fine, yes. But when you actually have an end user, actually go through the finish their testing on a particular feature that you're about to ship out or the entire product and confirm that it actually works well before it goes live, then yes. So that's what we call the UTA. Those are like the user acceptance stage, right? This stage is where the quality assurance guys they've done their testing and ensure that the code is working properly. After the quality assurance guys have ensured that the code is working well as expected, the client now does their own check to see that if this solution actually solves the problem that it says is or that they're looking for, right? So on this stage we have what we call client review. When this is coming in, we have bug fixes. Right. So we have a client review and bug fixes. Right. Now, this is the monitoring stage that I'm telling you about. So as the request is coming in, we're fixing the bug and we're sending it back, or rather, we're fixing the bug and then we're pushing it back, and then they test it and confirm that it's okay. Until this pipeline is completed, we can then ship out to the global mass. But these days, this process feels like this process is too I would say tight, right? I don't see this being followed these days, yeah, by most companies. Just build and ship it out ASAP, right? But after we're done with this, when these guys we've confirmed that whatever they've said, we fixed it, then this is where the other guy now happens, which is the deployment. This is where the deployment now happens. And when the deployment happens, we have what we call the CI and the CD. Oh no, CI CD. CI CD means continue integration and continue development. Um, what this allows you to do is, case of GitHub, case of Vessel, case of Digital Oceans, as you're building, you are deploying, it's it makes the entire pipeline easy, right? You don't have to build and go and ship and uh pipeline. What am I doing? Pipeline, then we have the production, and we're um production release. So yeah, that's we have the CI/CD pipeline and the production release, right? When we are testing and then we are deploying, we confirm that this is working, and then we are shipping it out to the production, right, for the masses to start using. It still does not stop that. It still doesn't mean that this cycle is going to stop. It's a continuous process, right? As it's coming in, because we are going to be doing the final thing here, which is what we call the more monitoring and maintenance. That's correct. So this is the part where we now do the monitoring and the maintenance, and this means that we are going to be doing what? We're going to be tracking errors. We're going to be tracking errors. We're going to be looking at the performance of the application, and we're also going to be releasing new updates on the platform. So these are the stages. I think we've done a good job by outlining this. Yes. I'm going to move this here so that I can bring these guys down. Bring it down so that you can see it as it is. Group, bring it down. So let's take it down. Let's take it down. Let's take it down. So we have this guy. Then we have this guy. And this guy. And this guy. So we have from here moves to here. And we have from there move it to here. And then when we get to this place, this stage is I don't know if you understand whatever I did here, but yes. Okay. So we already know that these are the three stages. All right. I'm going to push this out a bit. We get the flow. We have our checks, and then we move to the next page. Yes, come in. Move to the next page. Yes. Um, check that room now. That wardrobe. Oh. So this place is hot. I need to increase this fan, man. Yes. So overall, yeah. Overall, what we are doing is we have the foundation. Oh shit. Hey. Oh no. Okay. We have foundation. Foundation. We have the build. We have the sheep. We have the back to sorry, back to foundation. So that's exactly what I did here, breaking down the steps. If only this guy will allow me to increase him. Okay, he did. What? Increase yourself, guy. Hey, the problem. So that's what we're doing on this level, right? So we are building shape. Let me take it back to the foundation again. There you go. So I'm going to get this and draw it out. And we duplicate that. We move it here. Duplicate that. We move it here. So I need to give this guy enough space. So this is basically what we're doing. We lay the foundation. We build. We ship. Oh no, what's going on? What's going on? Yep. So we lay the foundation, we build, we ship, and we lay the foundation again. Right? We're back to the foundation. So this is pretty much it, right? Over time, I'm going to be doing more deep dive into best practices and all that, right? But this is the foundation we need to get started on, right? Remember what I said about user story that we broke down here? We broke down the user story. Then we went ahead to talk about the system design. Then we also looked at the tech stack, right, that we're going to be using, and then we also looked at the wireframe as well for this project, right? So I'm just going to put this up. So in case you don't know what I did, I'm just going to so you highlight, you double tap your your mouse, right? You double tap your mouse and then you highlight everything, drag it all the way down. When it highlights, you press Control G. Yes, that's for Windows. I don't know for I Apple. I don't know if about Mac. I think it's Command G or so. Right, but that's how to group it. That's just a shortcut. Just in case you're wondering, I know it's not part of it, but just in case. Yeah. So this is what we have built over the couple of how many minutes, right? And this is interesting. I'm excited about this system because having to work on this system with you, we're going to be looking at best practices and other things. And also, I remember that I said we're going to be choosing the type of design that we're going to be working with, right? Hold on, let me see. I was wondering. Yes, the type of design that we're going to be working with, and I've listed them out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to follow up the system that we just did. The discovery part, I need to confirm. Let's see. Oh, so we're definitely not using climorphism. Okay, we're not using climorphism. Um, we're not using climorphism. So what we're going to do is let's do this. Let us get let us get through. Let's use Claude, right? We're going to use Claude, and we're going to get the idea of what we're going to do, right? Remember, the title of this project is vibe coding, right? But we're not going to vibe code entirely, right? We're going to still do some work, right? And we've started the work already, which is the discovery part that we're doing. So going to take all this. So this is what I did. So I am asking Claude that I'm looking to build. It's supposed to be an order. I'm so sorry. I'm looking to build an booking system or a website. In brackets, I specify this for food or and catering service, right? Which is the best design type that would match this project? So I made a list. Of course, we have the list. So I'm going to allow Claude to suggest what is the best design type that would match this project. And when he suggests, we're going to look into that design UI. Of course, I already knew it was minimalism. I knew he was going to pick that, right? I already knew he was going to pick that. But then, just in case, we're using Sonnet 5. Sonnet 5. Remember on the live stream, I made it clear that Sonnet 5 has been made available for everybody. Yes, so Sonnet 5. So here's what he said. Okay, so I love the fact that I'm seeing Bento Grid UI because I just showed you guys what I did with Bento Grid, right? And for me, I'm already feeling excited with bento grades, but I don't know what you think in the chat. Just tell me what you think in the chat. What type of design, what design type should we go for? Or what design type would you suggest or would you recommend that we go with for this project that we're about to start, right? But I'm pretty much excited about this bento grid UI. I don't know why, but there's something about bento grid that excites me. But minimalism ain't bad at all. Glassmorphism, I really won't use glassmorphism, right? But let's see what Claude says. Claude says my recommendation: minimalism as the foundation, bento grid for structure, and glassmorphism as an accent layer. So combining the three. Wow. This is interesting. This is interesting. So here's how I would rank your list against what an ordering system actually needs. Just give me a minute, please. Please tell me in the chat, what is your recommendation? What do you recommend what design type do you recommend we go for? Right. So strong strong fits. This is your base. This is your base. Food photos need to be the visual focus, not competing with heavy UI chrome, clean white space, clear typograph, um, fast scanning are proven to reduce friction to checkout flows. Okay, okay. We're going to look at this website. So the stage that goes to a discovery phase. Oh, yeah, discovery phase. Okay, so interesting. Then bento grid, beg your pardon. Bento grid, excellent for organizing menu categories, combos, popular items, and views into scannable modular blocks. It gives you visual hierarchy without cluster and very mobile friendly since blocks can flow naturally. Okay. Then we have the glassmorphism, great as an accent, not a foundation. Frosted glass cards are over hero food photography. A touchless sticky card. I know I already know this. I already know this feel. I already know this feel. Right. Okay, so this is what This is what Claude suggests. Use sprinkly situations, liquid glass, beautiful but performance heavy and complex to implement. Um, and, Polymorphism can work if you want playful, friendly catering brand. No, yes. Avoid neomorphism. No contrast is actively bad here. Brutalism, raw, unconventional. Skeuomorphism, use dated or modern ordering. Okay. Maximalism. Um, ah, there was a cut. There was a cut. Like make up a mock-up visual combo that feels the brown color or vibe is closer to response. So the reason I always drop a feedback when I'm done with my chats with an agent is it helps them become better, right? Most people don't do this, but I love to do it. I love to drop a great response quote when there's a great response, right? And there's a great response, I drop a great response quote. All right, so I think we have a target now. So we have three guys here. We have the minimalism, the bento grid, then we have the glassmorphism. Or there are brands that was mentioned that we needed to check out. So this is Uber Eats. It was mentioned on. Let's see their website and see how it looks like. I'm sorry, but I'm going to reject. Are we done? Oh, it's downloading. Okay. Oh, oh, interesting, interesting, interesting. So, see. We're going to just go ahead to sign up here, right? We're going to sign up. Oh, take it back. We're going to just go ahead to sign up here. Getting started. Started. Get started. Let's log in with Google just to make this whole process fast. So the reason I'm signing up is because I want to see how their UI looks like. Bro, this is a hell of URL. Ooh. Why would you send an SMS to my what? Send code via WhatsApp. 2453. Oh, wait, what? When I did okay. So I actually like this. Do you see how minimalist this UI is? Okay. Okay. See things like feed your employee, feed your employers, feed your employees, then your restaurant delivered, deliver with Uber Eats. This is nice. This is nice. Let's see. Okay. Restaurant. Anyways, this is Uber Eats, and so far I love their website. I love their website. Then let's check out DoorDash to see. Woo! All minimalists. Close. All minimalists. I like it. All minimalist. This is nice. I don't want to sign up yet. Relax. What is the problem? While that is loading, let's check out this Swiggy. Swiggy. Yes, let's see. Swiggy. We're still in the discovery space stage. We're yet to do this project, right? This process look at what for you, what would be able to interact with um, your audience, right? We are not there yet. We're currently not available. What location is that? I think my VPN is on. My VPN is not on. So I think at this point I need to turn on my VPN. Or if I do, it's going to cause a problem for me. So no need. Yes, that's fine. Let me see. It's all minimalist. It's all minimalist. This is giving. This is giving climorphism. Yeah, this is giving climorphism. I think it's climorphism. This is giving. Um, this is giving. Should I say this is giving glassmorphism? Is it giving glassmorphism? Oh, hold on. I'm coming. I need to. That's bento grid. That's bento grid. That's bento. Yeah. Looking at it, I was able to tell. Okay, that's bento. That's good. So come there. This is giving bento. It's bento. It's bento grid. Okay. It's interesting. I like this. I like this. All right. So we've been able to check out. Yes, these guys. We're back. So we have three inspos that we're going to use for this project, right? We're going to use DoorDash. We're going to use Uber Eats. We're going to use Swiggy, right, as the inspo, right? But already, I think I've decided that we're going to be using the three suggested design style that design type that Claude suggested. Because looking at this, I love the simplicity and how it's interacting with me being the end user, right? I love the feel of the website. I love the layouts, right? It's just minimalist and not too clustered. So this is nice. I like this. Right. Okay, so we have three. I think we have our deal, guys. I think we have our deal, guys. So what we're going to be doing next is going into the nesting. Like going into the nesting. Going into the nesting. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. So we're going to use this, right? So now that we have this, we've decided that we're working with three things, right? So these are the three that we're going with, right? These are the three that we're going with, all right? So now that we have this, I think we're ready to dive in, right? We're ready to dive in. We're going to be doing both the stakeholders, the URM, the user stories, and every other thing accordingly when we start when we start this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start off this project. We start this project in the name of Lord. Amen. Say amen. All right. So um so I listed out some things, yes. Okay, no need. Let me just dive in. So to dive in, What's going on with my system? System is lagging for some reason. Something is going on. It's my system lagging. I think my system is lagging. Is it? It's not lagging now. Well, anyways, let's start. So for this project, we are going to be using um we're going to be using one of the IDs that I listed out on our previous stream. Gravity and anti-gravity, we have access to some models. GPT, we're going to be making use of mostly Gemini, right, to build this project. But to initialize the project, we're going to be making use of the closed sonnet 4.6 to plan the project, and then proceed with the execution, right, using the Gemini 3.1 Pro High. This guy is actually very good, right? So this is what we're using for the agents, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead to create a project now, right? And then I open it inside here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use git bash. So should in case you are following this, right? If you don't have git installed, this is the process that you use to install your git. Let's install on this account. So you go to your browser, git. This is Git for Windows and Git for if you're using Mac OS. This is Mac. I think there should be one for Linux, but we're using Windows, so I'm using Windows for this. So I'm going to select Windows. Note I already have Git installed, right? You'll be wondering what does Git allow you to do, right? Let's compare. What does Git allow you to do? Right. So Git is a free open source distributed version control system that acts like a superpower undo button combined with a collaborative workspace. It allows you to track file histories, collaborate with others seamlessly, work offline, and safely experiment with new code changes without breaking your main project. Git is GitHub. Git is GitHub is the platform. Git is the main machine, right? So whatever we're using to do version control, we're going to see that. I think I explained that on our, I think, stream 0.2, right? Where I explored the VS Code, Visual Studio Code terminal, right? So Git allows you to do version control, and version control is when you are working on a project and someone else is working on it on the same project, and you both are working on two different things. Git allows you guys to do your work collaboratively without having to break the system, right? So I can be working on a feature called add a buy now button, and someone else in my team is working on a feature called add a request for support button. Right now, these projects, these are two features, and they are going to be like on the same platform. But to ensure that we don't have issues, right? I have my own branch. My own branch is called Git. My own branch is called Fix or Fit. There is a naming convention also. So if you are using Git, there's a what we call naming convention. So that is if you are writing no, not programming, not Git naming convention. So yeah, this is it. This is conventional commit. So you can go here to check out how to have a more professional commit. So this is conventional commit. Use that to understand how to actually So this is like a conventional commit, right? A pattern. So if you are if you are adding a new feature, if you are whatever commits that you're doing, whatever changes or updates that you're doing on your project, there's a pattern at which you are supposed to use. So for the cases that I'm adding a new feature, so here, introduce a new feature to the code base. Here, introduce a new feature to the code base. So you use fit, right? Patches a bug in the code base, you use fix, right? So if there is like something that you just did that you really don't feel like is a thing, you can use chore, build. These are conventions that you can use, right? So you will see me do use that a lot while we're building, right? But just stay with me. So Git allows you to work on same project with multiple people without having to break what's already working, right? Where there, if it becomes an issue where two people are working on the same thing and they make a push, providing that they're not pushing to the main branch, which is the release branch, which is the production branch, right? They, it's it gives room to use Git to resolve those issues. You understand? So you look at what this person have done, look at what the other person have done, see which one is more efficient and more professional. Choose the one that you want to accept and the one that you don't want to accept. Overall, Git is just a version control open source that allows you to collaborate and everything. Yes. So that's for Git. So you go and install Git. The reason we are installing Git is because we're going to be using that. So install Git. When you install Git on the project, I remember on the live stream 0.2, we already explained how you can install VS Code, which is the code editor. If you want to use anti-gravity like I am doing now, you can go to. So, okay, let me just complete this. Choose the system that you're working with, and this is the system. So I can just choose this. When you choose this, it downloads automatically, right? Once it's done downloading, you can run it. For instance, I already have this. So you can see that if you're using Mac OS, choose Mac OS option. Then this is the process for you to install. If you're using Linux, this is the Linux option. This is the process for you to install Git, right? Um, but since it's window, it's always easy on window. I don't know why it's always easy on window. So just click on install, install. I think it's done downloading. It's going to tell me that I already have it's running this project. So let's see how it goes. I'm waiting for it to see. I already have this to go. It's taking its time. But while that is coming, what is Git Bash? Git Bash is a command application for Microsoft that provides blah, blah, blah to run Git. So Git Bash runs Git, right? So whatever that we're going to be doing here, I'm going to be using Git Bash, right? So you're just going to see the process. Take note of these things: Git Bash, Git, um, conventional commits, right? We checked out conventional commit here. This is a conventional commit. How to name your branch, how to name a branch that you're working on, right? How to push, how to name your commits, right? In such a way that is more professional, right? So yes, that is that. Then I think we have, yeah. So it came up here. Yes, we are going through the process of installation though for Git. Next, I already have Git honestly, but we'll keep going though. Next, install. Cannot set up screen until you close the application. Blah 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 blah. Which is this guy. So however it is though, this is the process. When you're done installing it, right? You can then come to your Windows option. I don't know. Okay, finally. Come to your Windows option, then you see it as recently installed. You can still search for it, Git, and you can see the Git. I've already installed it, right? So once you do that, the Git bash comes with it. So you do Git bash, you open Git bash, which I've already done, and I'm opening it again. So I'm just going to close one. So Git bash, we're going to use the command line to create this project, right? So what we're going to do is I love to arrange my projects, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you. So I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I love to arrange my projects. Yes. So I have a folder in my directory that is called codebase, right? And in my code base, I have other folders that I've arranged, right? I want to see if I can expand this. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to expand this. So I have a bunch of folders. I just love to structure my project. Yes. So this project is going to be going under personal, right? And inside personal, I have two projects here. So this is what we're going to be doing with Git Bash. We're going to find our way into the. We could literally just from here to here. Sorry, from here, yes, to here, and then we open other options. Then we see there's supposed to be open with bash. Okay, you know what? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what you can do this. Select personal, then highlight it. You see other options. Then you see open with git bash, right? Either of these. You can do this, but I don't like doing this. It's a long process for me. So what I do is I'm going to close this from this terminal, right? I'll need to access the project. So what I'm going to do is cd into codebase. So I'm telling it to go inside a folder called codebase, go into a directory called codebase, right? Go into a directory called codebase, right? So just in case you're wondering, what does cd mean in programming? In command prompt, cd means change the directory to another direction. Right? So we said it should change. It's actually in the root system. This is the system. This is the root. Then we're telling it to change the position from the root to a folder, a directly called code base, right? Now from the code base, we are going to do something so that you can see the process. We are going to do dir. What is dir? Dir is that it should list out the directories that we have in this directory. Yes. What does dir mean in command prompt? I'll keep doing it like this so that you'll be understanding. So it says it stands for directory, right? It is a use to of the code base directory, right? We're telling it to list out all the folders and subfolders that are inside this directory. And you can see we have the client, group, eyes, personal, and skills. Now we want to go into personal. So we do cd into personal. So we're telling it to change the directory to personal. So it has moved from code base to personal. So it has entered inside code base. There is a directory called personal. So it's inside a directory called personal right now, right? And still inside this directory called personal, we can still do dir, which is list out all the projects or folders that are inside this directory because we need to be sure that this directory is not empty, right? Then we have two directories. There are two directories inside this folder, which is okay. Now, this is now the part where, because we want to add a new project to this directory, right? We're now allowed to do what we want to do. So because I said we are going to be working with our stack, the stack that we're working with is Nest.js, right? We're going to be working with Nest.js. So what we're going to do is we're going to install a Nest.js, create a new Nest.js project on this directory, inside this directory called personal, making it that, meaning that there are now going to be three directories inside this directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the browser. I'm just going to show you the steps. You're going to go to nest.org/docs, nestjs.org/docs, nestjs/org. Sorry, hold on. I need to, write it here so that you can see it properly. So you are going into nestjs.org/docs. So, oh my God, Shift Control S. So this is where you're going to. So you visit this nestjs.org/docs. I'm just going to go there. So what this means is it should take you directly to the documentation of Nest.js, not anywhere else. It should just take you to the documentation of Nest.js, where you will now be able to see how to install the project and everything, right? Which is what we're trying to do. So we're here now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to installation, right? Installation here. You can take your time to actually go through Nest.js documentation, but I really do not have that time. So quick start, create a new project. Yes. So this is what I'm trying to do. So it's doing this quick start is doing three things. First of all, it's creating a new Nest.js application with a name on it. Then it's going to enter inside that directory, and then it's going to run the server, right? But we're not going to be doing. Then it's not going to. I cannot visit the server. We're not going to be doing these three things. We're just going to do one thing, which is creating the project, right? Because there are other things that we need. So also, I forgot to mention that we're going to be using something called there's something that we're going to be using here. We're going to be using what we called what is called ShardCN. So we're going to use ShardCN components, right? So that is I just listened this out so that you can have it in mind, right? Then where are we? Where were we? We're here. So like I said, we only need this first line on this project. This is just what we need, right? So I'm going to copy this line, and then I'm going to go to my bash, right? Now I'm in my bash. I'm going to paste this. You right click to see the options to paste, then you paste. So now we're going to leave this. So this means create a new Nest.js project, the latest new Nest.js project. This is what it means. This is the part where you now name the application itself, this part, right? Just like the way I name this directory and I name this directory and I name this directory, that's the same way you do that here. So I don't want it to be my app. I want to name it the actual business name. The actual business name is what we're building for is called the Foodies City Hub. This is the name of the project, the Foodies City Hub. Or you know what? I don't want to have too much hyphen. Let's make it together. Let's do hyphen here. The Foodies City Hub. I think this is great for me. Yeah, the Foodies City Hub. So, and I'm going to just click enter. So now we allow Nest.js to run the installation on this project. And note that we are using pnpm on this. We are not using npm, right? We are using pnpm. I love pnpm because pnpm allows you to or selects only the projects, only the the packages that you need on a project. Unlike NPM, NPM assumes that you need whatever it is and then packs everything inside your project, right? Which makes it quite heavy for a project to suppose there is a project that is supposed to be as low as less than 1 kilobyte or 2 kilobytes is spanning up to 3 megabytes or 8 megabytes, right? As a result of that, I stopped using npm, right? But the project that I recently worked on, which is the this project that I to get this npm2, right, and wire and npm. So we are going to find out why this is installing. Yes, this is installing. We are going to do like a quick dive on what is npm and what is pnpm. What is npm and pnpm? And then there's also yarn. There's npm, there's npn, there is pnpm, there is yarn. Yes, there is yarn. Yarn are mostly for backend, right? But let's see the difference between the three of them. So yes, these are package managers for JavaScript and Node.js, right? npm, yarn, pnpm are Node package manager, yarn yet another resource negotiator, pnpm prominent npm. I love it. Oh, performance npm. Yes, I love the fact that it's performance because from what it says, a modern high performance package manager built to solve the speed and disk. See the problem I was talking about, disk space limitation of npm. And yeah, I don't know about Yan, but I know of npm having to have this disk limitation, right? So this is the reason why we're using npm. PNPM rather. I prefer to use PNPM. PNPM is fast and it only selects the packages that you need to work with on your project. It doesn't add anything extra. If it's NPM will just go and do whatever that is in his mind. All right, so let's check on the project. Okay, still creating, right? While that is going on, like I said, we're going to be using what is called ShatCN. So we're going to also go and install ShatCN right now. So we're going to go to ShatCN. Um, I want to let's go to the components. So this is where you're going to. ui.shatcn.com/docs/components. You can visit just UI. Okay, let me just take it like this. You can decide to visit that, but you can go to ui.shatcn.com. I'm going to add that in the notes pad so that you can see it clearly. So ui.shatcn.com. So this is where we're going to, right? So I'm going to run this now. So this is like a component provider. It's a component library, right? Already has a predefined component that just allows you to plug in and use, right? So that's SCN. So we're going to components. In the top bar, you can see components. You click on components. On components, installation. You can set docs if you want. Docs, you can set local to docs if you want, right? So installation. This is the thing. So using this here, this is how to create if you're using npm, right? We're building this project with npm, so npm option. If you're dealing with pnpm, you can choose changes to pnpm. If you're using yarn, change to yarn. If you're using born, chain to bond. I've not used this before. I don't know bond, but I know of these three. Right. So PNPM is what we're using. So we're going to use this instead. Right. So PM this supports templates like the Nest.js, the Vite, Start, React Router, and Astro. Right. So I'm going to choose our framework here. We're using Nest, right? Then when you are using Nest, it's just going to do all these things, but I don't really need all these things. So what I need is this part. So I'm going to do this. Allow it to pick the stuff by himself. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start with the first one. Yes, this guy. Copy this link. Copy this. Then we go to our bash. Is still installing. It's still creating the project rather. We're not done yet. Project is still creating. All right. So recently, I noticed that there has been this constant issue that has been going on during installation of packages, right? This error is constantly showing, and I don't know why. I need to find out why this error keeps showing every single time, right? If you are creating a new project and this happens, you don't have to panic. You already have the instruction here. This is what you need to do. We are going to run. First of all, now that we've created this project, we are going to enter inside the directory itself. Remember the name of the directory. It has created. So if we do, to show you that it has created, we are going to do dir. Now we have it here. So you can see it now. This is the project we just created. So we're going to go into the project itself, the directory. So we're going to do cd change directory to the foodies city hub. Now we are inside the directory. Look at the tracks, look at the chain. We moved from the system, we changed the directory to code base. From the code base, we navigated our way into the personal directory. Now, from the personal directory, we are now inside the foodie city hub directory, right? So this is where we are now. So we're inside this directory, and what we're going to do next is now that we're inside this directory, like I said, there was an issue, there was an error that occurred while creating the project, but it didn't stop the project from creating, right? So what we're going to do now is to fix that error by running pnpm approve builds. Approve builds. But before we run this, let's confirm why this keeps happening. So we're going to go here and say, what is the cause? Okay. Okay. Oh, Okay. Okay. So this is the reason though, right? It's a security feature that was introduced by PNPM, the version 10 of PNPM, right? That just prevents any packages from running, installing, right? So you be the one to approve that by yourself. I think I know why now. It makes sense. So we're going to run that now. PNPM approve builds. So it's going to show two things. The first one is sharp. Oh, already? What is going on? What? Is there something I did wrong? You know what? Let me just copy this. Copy that and paste it. So I don't understand why that keeps happening. What? Damn it. And oh my god. Bro. CD back. Let's change the direction. Then let's run this again. Oh, okay. I think I used builds. I'm correct now. Hand builds. Okay. Let's go into the directory again. You know what? Let's do this. Go back. Go there. Do this. Jesus Christ. I really do not like having that error on my code. Okay. So there was a mistake. I used build instead of builds. Right. So that's the issue. So we have two packages. We have the sharp and we have the UNRS resolver. So what I'm going to do is to press A. A is to select all and enter. And then you click on yes. So what it's going to do is that it's going to run the installation again, but this time includes these three packages or two packages to the node modules. Right. So that's it. I think we're all good now. So if I do pnpm install, I is for install. That's what it means. So it says that everything is up to date and we're all good. Awesome. Now that we've installed this project or we've created this project and we're inside the directory and we want to include SHA-TN components, right? Like I said, you go to the documentation, copy the first link, the text, then you go back to the terminal and we paste it. So now that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove everything up to the presets. Should I leave the presets? I think up to the preset. Let's see. No, let's take out the preset. Let it be initialized. Then take it from there. This looks small. So I'm going to use. Does it look small? Okay, I think okay, it makes sense more. All right. So what we're doing now is that we're initializing SHA-TN to take to be part of the project, right? Yes, that's we're working towards now. So while we're waiting for SHA-TN to complete installation, right? I'm just going to minimize this, and this looks very big, bro. I'm going to reduce this. Where are you? Where are you, SHA-TN? Okay. Okay, so done. I think he's saying done. But while we're waiting for that, we have they have components that we can leverage on, right? So there's accordion, alert dialogue, aspect ratio, attach, avatar, blah 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 blah, and all that. There's another library that you also could explore on your free time. It's called a Saturnity. Yes, a Saturnity Y. Saturnity Y. Um, is is almost the same thing with Shatien, right? But they have like different components. So you can choose to use that as well in your project. But I rather stick with um okay, let me see. Been a while I checked Ascendancy actually. I out. So this is the actual. Yes, so we're on. So we're asking a question. We're asking us a question. Let's use base. Let's use. It was giving me serious issues. Should we use display? Let's use this. You can choose whichever one you want from that, right?